Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Ready to jump into the world of global cloud communications?
Always ready.
Cool. Today we're focusing on this company, Root Mobile.
Okay.
We've got their quarterly and 9-month financials, investor presentations, and even some snippets from their recent investor call.
Sounds like we've got a lot to dig into.
Yeah. Should keep us busy for a while.
Yeah, definitely. So, Root Mobile, it's fascinating. They're part of this new powerhouse, Proximus Global,
Yeah.
alongside like Telesign and BICS.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize they were all part of the same group now.
Yeah, they are. They're a major player in the whole CPaaS industry.
CPS.
Communications platform as a service. Basically, think of them as the backbone of a lot of the communication we use every day.
Gotcha. So like when I text my friend about dinner or send an email, it could be going through Root Mobile.
Potentially. And they're navigating some pretty interesting changes in the market right now.
Interesting. Well, let's talk numbers first. Root Mobile announced a revenue of Rs 1,183.79 crore for Q3, which is like a 15.6% year-over-year growth.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Especially because they said there was a slow festive season.
Right. You'd think a communication company would be booming during a festive season.
What would think?
Yeah.
But their growth is actually way ahead of a lot of other companies in their industry. A lot of their competitors are seeing like flat or single-digit growth, so they're doing something right even in a tough market.
So clearly they're onto something.
Yeah. Their 9-month figures are really good too, reaching Rs 3,400.62 crore. That's a 13.1% year-over-year increase.
Okay, so the numbers definitely look good.
But revenue is only part of the story.
Right, of course. What else should we be looking at?
Adjusted EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. I'm not a financial whiz. Could you break down why adjusted EBITDA matters so much?
Yeah, sure. Think of it like this. You want to see how well the core operations of a company are doing, like before you factor in things like debt or, accounting stuff. Adjusted EBITDA basically gives you a clearer picture of how much money they're actually making from like their main business activities.
Ah, so it's like a more realistic look at their profitability.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm following.
Good.
So let's move on to some of the challenges facing Root Mobile and the CPA industry in general.
All right.
They mentioned artificially inflated traffic, macro headwinds, and trust issues. What exactly is artificially inflated traffic?
So, artificially inflated traffic, we'll call it AIT.
AIT, right?
It's basically non-human traffic generated by like bots and other automated systems.
Like those spam accounts you see on social media?
Exactly. It's like if a social media platform has like tons of likes and comments, but a bunch of it is from fake accounts.
Right, so it's like a popularity mirage. The numbers look great, but the reality's different.
Yeah. And the problem is businesses might base their, marketing and stuff on those numbers.
So they could be investing in platforms that don't actually reach real people.
Exactly. Wasted resources, missed opportunities.
It all sounds kind of scary.
It is. It's a real challenge for the industry.
So how do these bots even work?
They mimic human behavior. Some are simple and just or comment on stuff. Others are more complex and can actually hold conversations or even create fake profiles. It's pretty sophisticated.
And how is Root Mobile tackling this problem?
They're working with mobile network operators to, implement firewalls and anti-spam filters. It's like a digital bouncer weeding out the fake traffic.
That's good to hear that they're taking it seriously.
They are, definitely.
So despite these challenges, what does Root Mobile have going for it?
Well, their global reach is a big plus. They have direct connections with over 450 mobile network operators, and they can access 900 through their super network.
Wow, that's massive.
It is. They have a truly global footprint.
I was reading about their follow the sun approach. They have teams working around the clock.
Yeah, they have 247 service and support.
Pretty impressive.
It is. Shows their commitment to being global.
Do they offer just one kind of solution, or is it more diverse than that?
Their portfolio is actually quite diverse. Solutions for messaging, voice, email, SMS filtering, analytics, monetization, all sorts.
So they're not just sending messages, right?
No, they're trying to move up the value chain, using things like AI and machine learning to offer more, sophisticated solutions.
Like what?
Imagine you order a burger, and instead of just wondering when it'll arrive, you get real-time updates and support through a WhatsApp chatbot.
Okay.
That's what they did for a burger chain in the Middle East. They integrated a chatbot that provides logistics info and 247 support in 13 countries.
That's really cool.
Right.
So it's not just sending more messages. It's about sending the right messages at the right time through the right channel.
Exactly, creating a better customer experience.
I like it. So they're really using technology to make communication smarter.
They are. They're also doing some interesting things with metro ticketing systems.
Oh, yeah.
They partnered with PT-MRT Jakarta to launch a WhatsApp-based ticketing solution so commuters can just buy tickets on their phones. And they also deployed an RCS-based solution for L&T Metro Rail Hyderabad.
Wow. And with them being part of Proximus Global now, there must be a lot of potential synergies with companies like Telesign and BICS.
Absolutely. Combining their expertise with those companies creates a real powerhouse in the industry.
So from what you've seen, it seems like Root Mobile is in a pretty good position.
I think so. During their investor call, the leadership team seemed really excited about these synergies.
Yes. What were they saying?
They see it as a chance to become like a global leader in digital communications.
That's a pretty big ambition.
It is, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still need to talk about their financials.
Right. Their press release mentioned a strong cash flow conversion, like reaching 102% of EBITDA.
Yeah, that's really positive.
And they announced a dividend of Rs3 per share.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I'm not entirely sure what that means for, like, the average investor.
Well, a strong cash flow conversion means that they're basically turning their profits into actual cash,
Oh, okay.
which is a sign of good financial health.
Makes sense.
And the dividend shows that the board is confident about their future. They want to reward their shareholders.
So overall, it sounds like a pretty healthy company.
It does. They're not just surviving, they're thriving.
Now, the investor call brought up some questions about their future plans,
Yeah.
like their ambitions, potential for more mergers, and how they're going to handle the evolving communication landscape. Did they shed any light on their strategy for tackling all that?
Well, they acknowledge the challenges, of course, but they also emphasize their strengths, their global reach, their diverse portfolio, and their focus on security.
So they're aware of the hurdles, but still confident.
Definitely. They see joining Proximus Global as a major opportunity to accelerate growth and, unlock new possibilities.
Sounds like they have a pretty clear vision.
I think so.
We should probably also touch on the leadership changes and restructuring.
Right.
Rajdip Kumar Gupta is now the managing director, focusing on international markets and product diversification.
Yeah.
Gautam Badalia stepped into the CEO role, and they have a new group CFO, Raj Gill, who's got a ton of experience in telecommunications.
It seems like they're really adapting to this new role within Proximus Global.
Yeah, putting the right people in the right places to achieve their goals.
Exactly.
So before we move on, I want to bring this back to our listeners. Why should they care about all this?
Good point. It might seem like a niche topic.
It does.
But think about it. You probably use text messages, WhatsApp, or email every single day.
I know I do.
Right. Companies like Root Mobile are building and shaping those technologies.
So their story is actually part of our story.
In a way, yes. It's a glimpse into the future of how we communicate.
Fascinating.
It is.
So I have a question for our listeners. What are your predictions for the future of cloud communications? Do you think text messages are going to become obsolete?
Yeah. Will we all have digital identities tied to our online activities? These are just some of the questions that Root Mobile and the whole industry are facing.
And the answers are going to shape how we interact with each other in the digital world in the coming years.
Definitely. It's an exciting time to be following all of this.
Okay, before we dive even deeper into Root Mobile's journey and what it means for the future of communication, I think it's time for a little break.
Sounds good.
So we've talked about their global reach and that really diverse portfolio of products they offer. But there's this other part of their strategy that I found really interesting. Data insights.
Oh, yeah. They're not just delivering messages. They want to help businesses understand the why behind all those messages.
Yeah, they're like transforming from a messenger into some sort of data whisperer.
Exactly. They use all that AI and machine learning to unlock these hidden secrets within a company's data.
Give me an example.
Imagine they analyze your past text messages
Okay.
to predict, say, what kind of promotion you'd find appealing.
That's pretty smart.
It is. That's the level of insight they're going for.
So instead of just blasting out random messages, they can create targeted campaigns that their customers actually connect with.
Exactly. And it's not just about marketing. They can use this data to find, bottlenecks in communication, make customer service better, even spot potential problems before they happen.
So it's about using data to make communication better in every way.
Right. More efficient, more effective, and a lot more insightful.
Seems like a game changer,
Yeah.
especially with the CPS market becoming more competitive.
Definitely. It's not just about offering the cheapest service anymore. Businesses need partners who can help them make sense of all their data.
And Root Mobile is stepping up to the plate.
They are. They're investing a lot in building their data analytics and developing those AI and machine learning solutions.
Now, their investor presentation also mentioned expanding their product portfolio. They're not content with just sticking to the basics.
No, they're not. They're always looking at new frontiers in cloud communications.
We talked about the metro ticketing systems, but I feel like that's just the beginning.
Oh, there's more. They're venturing into things like mobile identity, fraud prevention, even blockchain-based communication solutions.
Blockchain. That's getting pretty futuristic.
It is. It's still early days, but think about it. What if your digital identity was securely stored on a blockchain?
Okay.
No more passwords, less risk of identity theft.
Wow.
Or imagine a messaging platform built on a blockchain.
Okay.
Super private, super secure.
It does sound pretty cool, like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It does. But that's the kind of stuff Route Mobile is exploring.
They're not just following trends, they're making the future happen.
Exactly.
So we've looked at their strategy, their innovative products, their data-driven approach. Did their investor call give any insights into their vision for the future?
Oh, the call was full of optimism. They acknowledged the challenges, but they believe Route Mobile can overcome them and become a leader in the CPIS space.
Did they mention anything about mergers or acquisitions? They've done a few in the past.
They were pretty cautious about that. They said all options are on the table.
Makes sense.
But right now, they're focused on integrating the businesses within Proximus Global, making the most of those synergies.
Smart move. Make sure everything's running smoothly before adding more to the mix.
Right. They said any future acquisitions would have to be a good strategic fit.
And they need to be able to handle integrating another business, which makes sense. Did they talk about any other key priorities?
Oh, yeah. Attracting and keeping top talent was a big one.
That's crucial in any industry, but especially tech.
Absolutely. They want to create a workplace where people feel valued and empowered.
It's a good reminder that even in tech, it's the people who really make it happen.
Couldn't agree more. They also talked about diversity and inclusion, creating a workplace that reflects, the real world.
That's fantastic.
They understand that a diverse team brings fresh perspectives, new ideas.
Essential for growth and innovation.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've gone through all this information about Root Mobile, but how can our listeners actually use this knowledge?
Maybe you're thinking about launching your own business.
Okay.
Think about what Route Mobile has done. They've shown us the power of agility, innovation, putting the customer first.
Yeah, they've adapted, seized opportunities, and focused on delivering value.
Exactly.
And now, if you're an investor, maybe Root Mobile looks like a good addition to your portfolio.
Could be. Strong growth potential, a solid track record, it's something to consider.
And even if you're just interested in technology, their story shows how things are changing, how we connect, how we communicate.
It's a glimpse into the future.
Before we wrap up this part, I want to leave everyone with something to think about. Root Mobile is really into AI and machine learning.
Right?
But it makes you wonder about, the ethics of it all.
It does. As AI gets smarter, will it be able to tell what's real and what's fake online?
Yeah, that's a big question.
It is. And those aren't just tech questions. They're questions about, society as a whole.
Technology is a tool, but it can be used in different ways.
Definitely. And the choices we make today are going to shape our digital world tomorrow.
So as we move into this AI-driven future, we need to think critically about the role of these technologies.
Absolutely. Advocate for responsible use.
We've only touched on a small part of Root Mobile's story, but hopefully it's given you a lot to think about.
I think so. It's a complex world out there, full of challenges, but also full of opportunities.
Definitely. And before we move on to the next part, there's one more thing from that investor call that really caught my attention.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Root Mobile mentioned they're interested in blockchain technology and how it can be used for communication.
Oh, that's interesting. We always hear about blockchain with crypto, but its potential goes way beyond that.
Exactly. I'm curious to hear how blockchain could change the way we communicate.
Well, think about it. What if we could store our digital identities on a blockchain?
Okay.
No more passwords. And way less risk of identity theft.
That would be amazing. It's
Mhm.
so much more convenient.
Right, and it's about giving people more control over their data.
It sounds like a total shift in how we think about communication and data ownership.
Exactly. It's moving away from those big centralized systems and towards something that's more decentralized, more user-focused.
I like it. A more democratic internet.
It could be. And companies like Root Mobile are the ones leading the way.
It's exciting to think that such a big change might be just around the corner. But are there any challenges to overcome before we get there?
Of course. One big one is scalability. Blockchain is still pretty new, and it needs to be able to handle tons and tons of transactions.
Right, we're talking billions of messages every single day.
Exactly. The system needs to be super strong and reliable. And then there's interoperability. Different blockchain platforms need to be able to talk to each other.
So they can work together smoothly.
Right. And then, of course, we have the whole regulatory landscape to consider.
Governments and laws.
Yep. They're still figuring out how to deal with all this.
It sounds like there's a long road ahead, but the potential is huge.
It is. It's a reminder that progress isn't always easy. There are going to be bumps along the way.
But we're all in this together. As technology keeps changing so fast, we need to stay informed and have these important discussions.
Couldn't agree more.
So it's pretty clear that Root Mobile is a company to keep an eye on.
They really are. They're not just adapting, they're shaping the future.
And this deep dive has been a fascinating look at how technology, innovation, and communication are all coming together.
We've seen their financials, their strategies, their plans for the future.
It's been a great journey so far.
It has.
Now, let's pause here for a moment before we head into the final part of our deep dive into the world of Root Mobile. It really is amazing how tech that started with cryptocurrency could end up changing how we communicate.
It is. Shows how connected everything is,
Yeah.
right? Innovation in one place can totally transform another.
So what specific things are Root Mobile looking at with blockchain and communication?
Well, take digital identity.
Right.
Imagine if yours was stored securely on a blockchain.
Okay. Yeah.
No more passwords, way less risk of identity theft. Transactions would be so much smoother and safer.
Oh, that would be a relief.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of remembering passwords.
Right, and it's bigger than that. It gives people control over their own data.
How so?
You could choose what you share with each service, making things more transparent, more fair.
So we're talking about a whole new way of thinking about communication, like who owns the data?
Exactly. Moving away from those big companies controlling everything.
More power to the people.
It could really change the internet as we know it. And companies like Root Mobile are leading the charge.
It's exciting and kind of scary at the same time.
Yeah, I get that. But with any new tech, there are always bumps in the road.
Like what? What's standing in their way?
Scalability is a big one. Blockchain's still young. It needs to be able to handle tons of transactions.
Right, because we're talking about billions of messages and all those interactions.
Exactly. The system has to be rock solid.
Got it.
Then there's the whole issue of interoperability. Different blockchain platforms need to be able to talk to each other, work together smoothly.
Makes sense. So it's not just about the tech itself, but also working together as an industry.
Exactly. And don't forget about regulations.
Oh, yeah, the
They're
government.
still trying to figure out how to deal with all this.
So it's going to be a wild ride.
Probably. But hey, progress is rarely a straight line.
True. Well, Root Mobile's definitely a company to watch. They're shaping the future, not just reacting to it.
Totally agree. This deep dive's been fascinating. We've seen their numbers, their strategy, and how they're pushing the limits.
I feel like we've just scratched the surface, though.
There's always more to explore. But for now, I think it's time to wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive.
Yeah, I think you're right. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Root Mobile and cloud communications.
And to all our listeners, thanks for being here. Keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you next time.